yes, we are the weak links of this entire system, right? So we've got everything possible living within us. We're almost like a mother earth. We are like a mother earth. That's the best way to describe each and every one of us. We're like a mother earth, and there's many aspects to us. But being a human being is like going to the most challenging piece of yourself. So in some ways, no, not in some ways. Let's cut to the nitty gritty, Susan. In in all ways, we're in a situation where we're at our most humblest, right? So now we're at the baseline of an ego. That's us, and we are. This is my first time describing it, so a lot of ums will come. We're at the baseline, we're at the ego. And it's almost like if we, as the ego, wants to receive help, we're going to receive help. If we at the ego don't want to receive help, we're not going to receive help. It's free will. The ego has free will. And we feel all these energies coming in, which are us as well. But that's not the existence in which we're in. The existence in which we're in is the ego. And it leaves us in the most vulnerable space anyone could ever ask for. And that's what I was thinking. I'm in a vulnerable space. But I didn't know I was in a vulnerable space because, of course, I just shared with you I was in the fuck it, I'll do it myself phase in some capacity. Not all capacity. You know, it's like when you identify a part of yourself, it's not a totality of yourself, it's a part of yourself. That's why, you know, it's so difficult because, you know, we're shaming the shit out of ourselves, thinking part of ourselves is the entire, you know, collective of ourselves, and then we just, you know, shame, you know, don't look at me, I'm a shamer. Okay, so let's get back on track. This ego, we are that ego, that is what we are. We're at the baseline of it, and we have come all the way down, right? So think of this coming all the way down to the baseline, and we have this much consciousness starting with, right? And maybe it dwindles down even to less than that when we get out of childhood, because the longer we've stayed here on this planet or in this system, I don't even know if it's a planet. I know that there's a Mother Earth. I just confused by all of it. Anyways, remember, I don't have the answers. I'm theorizing my own journey. So you're getting a chance to go the whole ride with me. Usually I theorize and then I come on here. So let's talk about sidetracking. I guess this is very uncomfortable for me. So now I'm at the mercy of needing everything and everyone to help me. Right? The dragons, the fairies, the unicorns, the trees, the angels, you know, your guardians, your ET groups, you know, heaven, and your I am present. You're at the mercy of needing everyone's help to do this job effectively. And we're in need of each other as sparks of examples, which is what I'm playing the role of. And it's freaking hard because the ego doesn't want to feel helpless. It doesn't want to feel because the helpless makes them feel not worthy, like the ability to contribute, right? And this system, however it's been formed, you know, because sometimes I feel like I'm in a computer simulation, and then the other times I feel like, you know, I'm on beautiful green Mother Earth. And I guess that's what they call state of mind. And this system is dictating, but it's not dictating through love. It's dictating through control and through taking and through give and take. You always know something's not love. Here's a little secret. If you ever talk to a spirit or alien group or whatever, and they say, here's for you, but let me, but this is what I'm taking. If you feel any kind of take, that's not benevolent. Benevolent isn't about taking. But we're in a system which is taking. And it's been taking. And it feels really shitty. And it's been hurting. And it feels really shitty. So the ability for the ego, just on that basis alone, to trust, it's been really difficult. And the ego feels disempowered because it's been in a system that it hasn't felt like it can change. Now, I relate to a system, and it feels like it's been here for a really long time. So I've lost my confidence in some respects, right? And then if we get angry with what we think is not helping us, I just described that in my last video, then there's a lot of helplessness feelings and a lot of fuck it's. And as we move into, through a free will, the ability to surrender down into the receiving of that help, it's the only way that this change is actually going to occur within self. Is the surrendering down to your vulnerability. And it's hard, because I didn't realize how hard it was, I didn't realize how hard it was until I discovered what the heck was really going on for me. And I didn't realize how I would have to acknowledge to myself how helpless it made me feel to not contribute. And part of this human experience, in my opinion, is to teach the ego it can receive. And I didn't know that I was playing that kind of game, right? Because as a certain type of personality, which I am, I'm a leader by nature. But the leading, I've had no example of what that looks like. So I'm literally piecemealing this stuff together, right? With my most authentic approach to this that I can think of. And what I can say is that it requires me to, leading really is requiring me to tell you that it's about vulnerability. Where can you let in more light? Where can you let in more help? Where can you discover you need help? And then ask for it. And you're like, okay, sounds great. I want to do it. And at the same time, if it's so great and you want to do it, why are we having this conversation? As me as your mirror, just as a thought. Because there's more. It takes you being honest to yourself about why and who is before you and why they've shown up before you. And more importantly, what do you feel like when you feel vulnerable? Are you like me, that every part of contributing makes me feel, there's a good feeling in that. And receiving has been so difficult to trust in. And that it has layers to it. Lots and lots and lots and lots of layers. And it's your job to go into your layers. And it's your job to go in and identify that. And I'll share with you as much as my layers that I can find. But you don't have to go at my pace. You could go faster than me. Go faster. Lead the way. You know, there's no race. There's nowhere to get to except a deeper remembrance of your relationships inside, and where you can free up asking for help and identifying that helplessness as an opportunity to grow, to learn that being vulnerable is what every ego here is doing here. We're meant to discover the vulnerability, but every time we've been vulnerable to someone outside of us, right? Because we've had fear, we've attracted that fear. And this has been the perpetual state of how humans became this part, and that is through the inability to see ourselves through the other. It's deep. So fun and deep, right? And I'm going to stop it here, and we'll come back again because we're already going in 12 minutes. Let it sink in.